What's up, guys? So it is a beautiful sunny morning here just outside of Sedona, Arizona. Somehow I convinced my girlfriend to go with me on a week-long hiking and camping trip. She's not really, that big into camping, and like the first night we a bunch of coyotes, which is normal out here, a bunch of coyotes that came around. They were sniffing and barking around the tent and stuff, and she about lost her shit. She had to wake me up. I slept right through it. But obviously she's a trooper and she puts up with me in my ideas. So she came along. She's having a great time. But I haven't done one of these like vlog videos where I'm walking around in a bit. I figured with it being such a beautiful backdrop here, I just finished up my morning walk and I'm headed back to camp. I figured I would take you guys along through here for just a minute and talk some training stuff with you. So we start these off with a question to get you to think about your training. So the question that I would ask you today, this morning, is do you ever get those points where you're just like stuck, right? Where you're hitting that plateau and you're just there, stuck mentally, physically. For me, mentally, it feels like, my mind's scrambled, right? No matter what's going on, I just can't put it together, right? And a lot of times when I try to double down and just push through it, right? Like that's typically what everybody says, just push through it, just will your way through it. When I do that, it ends up making it worse. I get more frustrated, and you eventually get to that point where you're just like, fuck it, you get to that boiling point. And then for me, the physical manifestation of this stuckness trap is kind of, it's like a car that needs a tune-up really bad, right? I'll try to pick up the pace, turn the burners on, really, go after it in training. And what ends up happening is, my body lags behind. Even if I'm mentally there, my body just like, it putters out. It's almost like a fuel injector's clogged, or maybe the fuel pump needs to be cleaned out or something, right? And so a lot of times, I've talked about this before. Sometimes, when you feel like you're not there, sometimes you got to just push through that, right? You just got to keep training. But there are some points, and these come a lot of times after hard sort of prolonged sessions of training, or if you've been stuck on something for a while and you just can't seem to figure it out in your training. That's typically for me the sign where I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back. I need to take a step away from it, clear my mind, and then come back later on. And a lot of times, for me, these are my favorite kinds of vacations, where we're just out in the middle of nowhere, hanging out, doing stuff. But some people, it might be different. You might want to do something else besides sit out in the woods and think, right? But whatever you do, taking a little bit of rest is a good thing. And it doesn't have to be a long vacation or anything like that. It can be like just a couple days off of training, just letting your mind kind of get away from whatever kind of problem or wherever that problem is happening, and then coming back at it. So a lot of times when I come back, right, to training, it's wild how it works, right? Some of my like biggest jumps in training come following a short little vacation or like a little rest. Sometimes I'll say, I just need a week off. So I'll take that week off, and then somehow I come back to training and, I was getting stuck maybe on a position or getting stuck in a particular type of move, whatever. And then I come back from that vacation and somehow it's figured out. I don't really know how it works, but somehow my body put it all together and it's done. And then, physically, a lot of times, especially either right after a hard training like camp or right before, I know that there's like, if we're getting ready for a big tournament, I try to take a little short rest right before the training camp starts for a big tournament, because I know that if if you're going to put your body through that prolonged grind of getting ready for a tournament, or at least for the next anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to be going after it. It's smart to take a little bit of time before to recharge the battery, or right after it's over, or maybe both, right? Take a little bit of time to let your body recoup, so this way you can, come back to training with renewed energy, renewed enthusiasm and vigor, and you can really go back after it again. Because otherwise what's going to happen is you're probably going to be overtraining at that point, and that physical, mental stuckness kind of spirals down, and then all of a sudden you're frustrated with training, you're getting pissed off, and you feel like you're hitting a plateau. And the only reason I bring this sort of subject up is because obviously I just finished up training for the Worlds, and so I know I was a little bit pooped, physically. I needed a break. Mentally, I could feel it too. And again, I don't dislike what I'm doing. I enjoy training, love it. I love teaching. I love all these things. But for me to be the best that I can be, I know sometimes I need to take a step away and let my body recharge. So this way, when I come back to teaching, I know I can give my students 100%. And I know that for my own sort of competitive efforts, I know that I need to recharge sometimes. And so this way I can come back and really give it my all instead of just being there and just kind of going through the motions, right? And I know I've fallen into the trap, for years of, not being smart about my training. Instead of, taking the rest when I should have took the rest, I continued to try to push through it, which just led to a lot of frustration, sometimes injuries, just a lot of bad stuff. So sometimes, again, when you start to feel that you're in that like stuckness, whether it might have been after a hard training camp, or maybe you're just getting stuck with a particular problem, take a step back, give yourself a little rest, maybe take a little vacation, maybe just take a couple days off the mats, and then come back to it after you've been able to. And when you do it, don't like take a step away from the mats and then just continually think about it. Like, try to just get your mind somewhere else. Think about something else, do something else, try to clear your mind, get away from whatever it is that, wherever the situation is bothering you. Because if you're taking a vacation, or if you're trying to take a rest, but you're still thinking about the problem the whole time, you're not allowing your body to kind of decompress and get away from it. You're still carrying that stress. So just get away from it completely. Let your body sort of figure it out and then come back to it. One, you might have a solution for it. Even if you don't think you do, your body sort of subconsciously puts it together. Or even if you don't have the solution, you'll be able to attack the problem more aggressively and more effectively, because you'll be recharged. You'll have that, reservoir of enthusiasm will be built back up, and then you can go back at it and tackle whatever's bothering you. So guys, again, that's a little bit more of a ramble, I guess. But again, just the idea, the takeaway is to be smart. And when you sense that you're getting just in that little funk, right? That stuckness trap, just take a step back, rest, relax, do something to get your mind away from wherever, the problem is coming. And so you can come back and you can be more effective in your training, and, both physically, mentally, you'll be recharged and ready to go. So that's it, guys. One more spin around of this beautiful, amazing country, this amazing area. I'll talk to you guys later.